I wanted to talk to you about reaching people where they are in the journey versus where you think you want to start. So some of the learnings that we've had at Intel is there are data signals that we can now action off of that help us get the right message in front of the right person at the right time. So my whole audience may not actually be in an awareness moment. Some of those people might already be past the awareness bucket. So what we've been able to do with our media programs is leverage data that is more broad and then data that is more specific. Next, we look at how do we meet people who are in the consideration phase and what kind of data do we have to action off of here. And one of the places that we've partnered with Dun Bradstreet is in their intent-based offering. So here, the signal that we're going off of is whether or not somebody is actively pursuing a given topic and therefore doesn't really need the awareness message because they're already at a spot where maybe they're looking for a workload-specific message and they want to dig into a certain area of their technology stack. So these are just some examples of how you can start to think about incorporating data into your media strategy and really putting that third-party data to use. I would always advocate that you have to partner your first-party data with your third-party data and make sure that you're using everything you have to be able to keep any audience that's already active with you engaged. You may think about it, though, from a retargeting standpoint versus a first touch so that you are making that data work harder for you and bringing people further down the funnel. From here, I'd like to go into some discussions about how do you think about the metrics to look at here and what is going to tell you whether or not you've been successful. And the first thing I remind my teams of is really what is our baseline gut check here, which translates to a review of reach and frequency. Next, you really need to be focused on what action you're looking for the audience to take. So if you're deploying a media campaign, is the goal of that campaign to deliver a message out in front of the audience and just make sure it's delivered in that visible moment? Or is it to get them to a landing page and really you're looking for people to come engage with you on your domain? Or maybe it's getting them informed on really deeper level content where you might want to land someone on an asset that takes them into a deeply technical conversation if they're already relatively far down the journey. And then what do you want your audience to do next? And what does that progression look like in terms of tactics that you're planning to deploy? So if you bring people in through a media campaign, what's your next objective to them? Is that to get them into an email campaign? Is that to get them to an event? Is that to get them to a salesperson for a deeper conversation? Really thinking through the steps that it would take to get to your goal and objective, and there's likely going to be multiple tactics in the mix there, making sure that you've gotten them through.